Oh, hello, hello, hello. Ooh. How we doing, guys? I have no idea if we're gonna be able to stream for much today. I think we are. It's storming a lot. I feel like I don't know why I have this association in my head that when lightning happens, my internet goes out. But I don't know why I'm thinking that. Should be okay. Why are you so unhinged here?
Give me some content.
Destiny yells for entire 1.5 hour drive. Hello, based alert. I would have. Why am I mad?
I can't drive.
Oh my god. Why is he so upset?
Just one ticket. Let me just try it.
Nope.
Let me just see.
Focus on driving. They're not free.
I can't drive. Well, you're driving me crazy. Okay.
Good one.
Okay, Britney Spears.
I'm gonna your mom.
All of these guys are trolling me the entire ride, by the way.
Just
Tell me what?
what do the Arabs need for peace? And he's like, freedom.
Oh, I had an interview with Ahmed TB. What a horrible... No, I shouldn't say that. Oh my god, fuck. Oh, we gotta get back. These interviews are all so good. We'll get back there, okay? The storyline for this whole trip is so good too. We'll get back there. Oh my god, it's so much worse. We get to talk to somebody from was it Haaretz? No, it was Bet Salem. We talked to a lady who works at Bet Salem, and then I talked to in the Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament, there is an Arab Palestinian elected official called Ahmed Tibi, Dr. Ahmed Tibi, and he is like the longest serving Arab Palestinian in the Knesset. And my conversation with him was just so wacky and wild. If I'm triggered on any particular drive, it's probably just because the managing this trip is incredibly stressful. It's just because I'm juggling the calendar the entire time. I'm confirming with people. I've got 4 different groups of people that are confirming me meetings and trying to juggle times with other people that we're meeting ahead of time. So I'm trying to balance all of that. I'm the only one in our group that can drive. So when we don't have security, I'm the one that has to do all the driving. And then people are obviously trying to cancel and move stuff around, and we're trying to figure out hotels and driving. For some reason, I got 3 tickets in one day. I got 3. That's what she's doing right now. I think I'm asking her, can you figure out how to pay these tickets? I think I got 3 tickets in one day, okay, parked in Jerusalem in this stupid fucking van. All right. But anyway. Why was the camera equipment considered a security risk for TB? It was just getting into the Knesset. There's a lot of security and shit. Did you not pay for parking or something? There was no way to pay for parking, okay? Oh my god, I will say though, okay? I will say though. I don't know if it was a taxi driver, so probably an Arab, right? That's how it works over there. The people in this country are built different in some ways. So we're trying to find our hotel, all right? And I'm not sure if we need to take a taxi to go to a different place. Taxi driver notices us looking for a hotel, and he gets out of the car to help us find the hotel. Okay, and then we find it thanks largely to him. He points us in the right direction. We're like, okay, thanks. I offer this guy a tip for his time because I figure he's helping us, so he's not doing any fares, he's not driving. And he turns it down. I don't think in my entire life, not to knock the profession of taxi driver, I don't think I've ever in my life seen a taxi driver turn down money ever. I couldn't believe it. My God. Why do I hear so many people say I'm the only one that can drive when it comes to streamer groups? Why the fuck do so many streamers hang around people that can't drive? Well, Lena can drive, but I don't think she was comfortable driving in Tel Aviv or in Israel in general. The driving is a little bit wacky. Lonerbox can't, but he's Scottish, so they've got good public transport, plus he works from home. And then Yobel, I don't know why he can't. He lives in a place. I don't know how much I can say where he lives, but he doesn't need to drive. Can I just give you guys, I don't know how to impart this wisdom on you, okay? Whenever people say the drivers in some place are crazy, this is what this means like 90% of the time, I think, okay? Let me just help you out here, okay? When people say the drivers in X city are crazy, what they actually mean is the drivers are aggressive and their drivers are aggressive. Thank you, okay. However, in most of the places, in every place that I've been where the drivers are crazy, they are very predictable. As long as you drive with confidence, you're fine in any of these places. So like, I had no problem driving in Tel Aviv, even though two of our security guys were like, "Oh my God, it's crazy! Like they're terrible. They drive crazy." Not really. They just basically, when you're driving in a city, you said this multiple times. Yeah, I know, but I hear this so much. If you put your signal on and you start merging, they'll respect it. It'll happen, right? But it's not like a little town where you put your signal on and then you look behind them and then they wait and they clear out and they give you space and then they wave at you and then you wave back and you maybe like text them and say, "Hi, oh my God, I recognize you from the market." No, you just merge in, okay? Usually when people say the drivers are crazy, what happens is people will signal and they look and nobody's like making space for them. They're not going to make space for you. They're not supposed to. You just start merging, okay? They're not going to crash into you. They're not even going to honk at you. They'll let you merge, but you have to merge. And Tel Aviv was the same way. Not only was Tel Aviv like that, I will say that somehow Tel Aviv was like, it was simultaneously, the driving is very aggressive as anywhere I've seen in the US or Canada, but also very like understanding. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know if it's like an evolutionary thing, but in the United States of America, if you live in a city, okay, if you are 7 cars back and the guy taps his brakes 7 cars forward, a gene will activate and you will honk your horn without even knowing somebody has stopped up there. And everybody in line will get the signal, okay? All of you are just driving and then everybody's honking the horn. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but I got to honk. Because some guy like 7 cars up like tapped his brakes. Everybody starts honking. In LA, New York, this happens in every major city. I don't know how it happens, but they do. In Tel Aviv, I got so nervous so many times at first because this I was not used to. We'd be driving and the security guy or whatever who's driving, he'll just like stop at the side of the road, blocking a lane of traffic, and then he'll hop out for like 30 seconds and do his shit and then come back in. Not a single person honks. Some people try to like go around and then other people sit and wait. And I'm like, they're simultaneously so aggressive, but like they're just, I don't know if they're just used to people just like stopping in the middle of the road. I'm like, the fuck? How is not a single fucking, the amount of honking in Tel Aviv is way fucking lower than I would have expected it to be. I'm like, the fuck? I don't know. I just thought it was like very weird. It was very, very, very weird to me. I thought the constant honking was a meme from movies. Is it real? In US cities, there's a lot of honking. Oh boy, dude, these motherfuckers like to honk. They do the same in Thailand. Nobody honks. It's a give and take. And also mentality that people matters a lot. Oh, okay. You're wrong. We don't do that shit in LA. If you blast your horn, people will hop out of their car on the freeway and shoot you. Where is this happening? What did I drive? On the Ventura Highway? Is that a song? That's a real thing, right? That I would hop into when driving from Glendale to LA? There were I don't know the names of all the fucking freeways, bro. There was also the Santa Monica. Is that the 405? The 5? I took all the major freeways there. People would honk sometimes. Yeah, for sure. I don't think I ever saw anybody shoot anybody. Yeah, traffic just sucked in LA. Not to do the pity whatever, like, oh, it was so much worse here. But if you live in LA for 1 year, traffic in no other place will ever bother you, and it'll be really hard to hold your tongue whenever people will say like, oh my God, like the traffic here is so bad. You're like, bro, I lived in LA for 2 months. You don't know what traffic is like, my friend. Okay, even New York City traffic can be kind of bad, but not LA bad. Because what you don't understand for New York is there's like times when the traffic is bad. In LA, it's just always bad, except for like from like 1 a.m. to like 4 a.m. Okay, and then sometimes during the weekday, a little bit, like outside of like lunch break, morning, and dinner hours, could be okay. DC traffic is worse than I haven't driven in DC much. public transit is way better in New York too. Yeah, fuck, I'm so sorry. I've repeated this like 7 times too. I'm gonna keep harping on this, or I'm just incredibly lucky. Bro, riding on the New York subway, I legitimately just don't think that East Coast people know what homelessness and disease and people, I don't think they know what it looks like. I just don't think they do. Bro, I got some mithril chainmail. I had like a sword and shield. I went to the New York subway. I was like, all right, I'm going to ride this motherfucker. The last time I was out there, I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ride the subway around because I want to know what it's like. Okay, I want to be doing, I'm ready for it. And it's like, it's fine. I don't even know if there's a homeless guy there. I'm like, the fuck? It's like pretty clean. In and out of the subway. No crazy people. All the lights and the audio worked. I'm like, the fuck? I don't think people know what it's like being in Seattle, San Francisco, LA. The homeless problem there is just it's on another level. It's not even close. Unless New York City literally killed all the homeless people when I'm there. Or maybe they move them around like I'm Kim Jong-un and they're like, we got to make it look good for dictator Steven coming through. What part? To be fair, also, I spent almost all of my time in the city. I think I've been to Brooklyn once. And then I've gone to the Bronx once with my aunt when I was a kid. When I was like 20, I guess. But so maybe Manhattan is just clean. Yeah, I've never taken. Yeah, I'm pretty much always in the city. So maybe it's worse than other places. I'm not sure. The New York City winter purges the homeless. Yeah, maybe. Do you have a good way to respond to these Nazi morons who dismiss everything you say because Israel bought you with a trip? It's so frustrating. There's nothing I can say. I'll do the same challenge that I said over and over again. If Candace Owens or anybody else wants to like have a third party verify our income sources, I'll gladly do that. Also, I just don't think people realize, and I understand this, and this is why I try to be, when I'm talking about, when people are like, oh, this guy takes bribes, I was like, well, hold on. Okay, I've been at several stages of like earning money in my life. And so I have like a decent idea, I think, of like what somebody would take as a bribe or what it would cost to pay somebody off or what's reasonable or not. Now, careful, okay? I need your subs and I need your money. Give me all your money. Keep subbing to me. Give me your money. But I make a lot of money, okay? My full trip to Israel was pretty expensive. What was it by the end of everything? Maybe $30,000-ish? I'll have to go back and check. I think it was around $30,000, I think. Which is decently expensive. But I make over $1 million a year now, okay? Like, I don't need why the fuck would I want a country to give me $30,000? It's such a retarded investment. Like, why would I change any part of my content, change anything I do, open myself up to that liability, give somebody that power over me, by the way? What, if I start shitting on Israel, am I going to have like Shlomo Finkel, like Rothenstein, sending me emails saying, like, oh, we see what you're saying? Fuck no. Why would I do that for $30,000-$40,000, right? You're going to have to pay me off with way more money than that to make it even remotely worth compromising. And again, this isn't even like an integrity thing for me. It would just be bad business. Why the fuck would I have Israel paying me off? Now, for some of these other like content creators that make way, way, way less, I could see it for maybe potentially, but yeah, no, it just doesn't make sense if you understand like the scale of money involved. Nobody's buying me out for a $30,000 trip. Like, this is just retarded. You're gonna have to be offering me way, 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 way more than that. If you see me with like a gambling sponsorship, okay, those motherfuckers are paying me at least $3 million a year. Okay, stake, $3 million is where we'll start the negotiations. Okay. Yeah, it's just dumb. Yeah, just the idea that I would be getting paid. Also, that's like the quick, logical, common sense shoot down. But that like the actual shoot down to that is like, you can watch me do all of my research and reading on stream. You can see me do everything. The idea that I'm like faking it somehow while also doing hundreds of hours of like streaming and reading and interviews and debate, like, bro, come on. It just doesn't. It's so it's so much work. I would be like the most invested in and like conspiracy theoried person ever to like get me to work it at that level. Like, it's just so dumb. Do Do you think the percentage of current political streamers and commentators who are being paid by foreign governments is pretty high right now? I do think that there are large content creators that are getting, I'll say that have official, like, I want to say backdoor or back channel connections. When I say back channel, I don't mean that like some shady dude is showing up like to talk to somebody, but I mean that there are like foreign state departments or foreign ministries in certain countries that will reach out and like collaborate with people and like do events with people and offer to bring them out and you know, like show them around as long as they, you know, just like they won't give them scripts, but they'll say like, just like avoid these talking points or like just kind of like make sure you incorporate these talking points. That stuff absolutely happens 1,000,000%. I know that for a fact. Maybe someday somebody will come out and expose them all, but hello? Oh, it's because I muted for the space. Damn. I'm not scared of conspiracy theories anymore. Now that I'm all Vyvanced up, I can fucking go hard on everything. Those debates yesterday were so horrible. It must be obvious, right? That when I'm saying, just give me one example, and the guy's like, well, here's 60, here's 10, here's like, that has to look weak, I would hope, in the minds of like, even those people, they're like, okay, well, fuck, like, just give me one example. And it's also stupid because there must be one. I'm sure there's one. Because nobody likes to extradite their own. This is such common knowledge. Even the TV guy says it. Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find it. God damn it. No, wait.
Give me one reason why I shouldn't have my boy.
I'm not gonna be able to find it. What does he say? I've moved all of your money to Hong Kong because China won't extradite one of their own. I'm safe.
Jurisdiction. And the Chinese will not extradite one of their own.
See? Even China won't extradite their people. Okay, although I don't know if China's necessarily a close ally to us, but... But anyway, yeah, how dumb. If content creators were backed by foreign governments, wouldn't there be at least one leaked example? So when I say that they're backed, I don't mean that there's like a guy who's getting paid every single day by like a crazy one. What I mean is there's a little bit of collaboration in terms of maybe talking points and some sort of financial compensation. When you say, wouldn't there be at least one leaked example? There have been like examples of this happening, like really blatantly. Jackson Hinkle is literally working with Russia at, like he went to that UN thing and he gave a speech. He was rolling around in tanks in Russia with the military. That type of event only happens with official State Department connections. You can't do that as a normal civilian. I can't call Putin and be like, can I like go roll around with your military and like take footage of it? That's a State Department connection. 1 trillion, quadrillion percent. It's like beyond obvious. There have also been people that, other content creators that make regular appearances, like very, very, very often, or have programs that are sponsored by like RT, like Russia affiliated media and stuff. That's all kind of the same. That's also why I kind of started to distance myself from like doing RT appearances and stuff. Because I'm like, Do you think that if you reached out to Russia, you're popular enough to do propaganda for their military? If I reached out and wanted to, yeah, probably. RT wanted me on quite a bit, but like I said, I started to get uncomfortable because I felt like I was like legitimizing the platform. I was like, fuck, I don't know if I should be doing this. Oh yeah, Syria. I think didn't Syria? There were several journalists that got awarded for prizes that were funded by the Syrian government. What? I don't want to misstate this. I think Hinkle was one. Haas might have been one. Was Greenwald one, or am I making this up? What RT appearances have you done? I think I did 2 or 3 of them over the last election. Was it 4 years ago? Would you go into Al Jazeera? I would have to. I'm not sure. I'd have to think like really carefully about all of these things. I'd have to evaluate them all a lot. I'm not sure. Jimmy Dore was one. He might have been. You did an election, I think, with RT? Yeah, we might have been, yeah. The Israel is a pedo safe haven narrative seems quite popular. I've met random people IRL who repeat those claims, saying Israel saves pedophiles and wants to legalize pedophilia. Yeah, it's just like pedophilia is always just like your go-to hit point for everything. Yeah. What's the most evil country you would do propaganda for if they paid you $500K? I don't know, Canada? The thing is that like, and I can't speak for every wealthy person, but like once you've made a certain amount of money, it seems like really hard to sell out like what you believe in or what your principles are. And I don't even mean to say principles insofar as like some like noble, virtuous principle. Like even a principle like I just want to like make myself more famous and popular or something, right? Like if that's all you care about, then yeah. But if it's not something you care about, either the money would have to be huge, such that nobody would accept, or no, it wouldn't be worth it, right? Like I could never be bought off by a foreign country because the amount of money they'd have to pay wouldn't be worth it. It'd be way more worthwhile for them to like just invest in other schemes. It just wouldn't be worth it to pay me that much. I don't have the influence, and it would be stupid to put all your eggs in one basket. And that's going to be true for any sufficiently wealthy person. What about Elon? I think that at least half of Elon's delusions come from the fact that he's just like a very bullied person. Like, I think a lot of Elon's mindset can legitimately be explained by the fact that woke people made fun of him, and now this is his way of like getting back, kind of. I legitimately think it. I think a lot of it is that, unironically. I don't think Elon is like totally bought and paid for by any foreign actor. I think he's just like very anti-woke. Could you give us pointers on how we could tell if you were ever bought? I should put a canary at the bottom of my website. Are those still legal? Do you think Hassan has ever taken any? No, and I would say no for the same reason. If Hassan has ever taken money from a foreign like entity like that, it's only going to be for stuff that he already believes in anyway. He would never. I don't think Hassan would ever change his belief for money, because Hassan makes enough money that he's going to make way too much, and the money's not going to matter as much. And two, Hassan's main obsession is clout. That would be. So if somebody could. If Russia were to say, hey, we've got 10,000 Americans that promise they're going to be concurrent viewers to your stream, as long as you like shit on Ukraine some more, then maybe he would do it. If Israel came to me and it's like, we've got 10 of the craziest BPD girls who are all trying to get impregnated, maybe then. No, I'm just kidding. Elon was broken by his kid being trans. Doesn't he have like 20 kids? Why would a foreign country pay someone to change their opinion on a topic when they can just fund someone who already believes the propaganda line? I believe that would be how most of the funding, like even right now, currently works. I don't think anybody changes their opinion because of like funding or whatever. They just find people that they already believe in, like that they think they already believe the narrative, and then the country believes in them, and then they just kind of push them like that. Yeah. That's why the APAC stuff is so stupid. I could like research it. What is the claim that like 95% of their what am I looking for? Candidates win elections. Because I did a lot of this is part of my general lobbying research a long time ago. But in looking up stuff, there's a lot of like lobbyists and people that will support people that they think are going to win, and that's just what they do. So it's not so much like when you see like 95. Now, I can't speak to APAC in particular because I haven't read. Maybe they really do flip elections, okay? But like we can imagine this if you want. We can imagine this in real life where let's say that I have a company, and let's say that I'm selling let's say that I sell a new air filtration system that removes 99% of carcinogenic gases from kitchens, okay? And I sell that, okay? It's my company and I sell it, okay? And I think, obviously because I sell it, and also because I think in the health benefits, I think every kitchen should have to have this stuff. I truly do believe that, okay? I think that every single kitchen should have my filtration system in it because it's healthier for workers, and I make money selling it, and it'd just be better for everybody, okay? So if that's the case, and let's say that I'm based in like 4 or 5 states in the Midwest, well, when I look at the elections that are going on, and I'm thinking of like, well, who do I want to, what am I going to spend money lobbying on? Like, whose campaign what can contribute up to $5,000? And then like people that I want to go and talk to. I'm going to see who's winning in all 5 states, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to arrange meetings with these guys. I'm like, hey, listen, there's a bill, NB 147 says that they companies have to have a minimum threshold for HEPA filtration or some bullshit in kitchens. I think you should support this. These are the reasons why. I have this company. This is the benefits and blah blah blah. And like here, like I'm gonna throw $2,000 at your campaign or whatever the fuck because I support you and I think you're cool. If I were to go around in 5 states and do that, well, first of all, I'm only supporting people that are going to win anyway, because why the fuck would I throw money as a company, especially to a candidate I know is going to lose, right? Well, now I've got like 100% success rate on my lobbying, right? And then if these people do end up supporting things, people are going to look at it and they're going to be like connecting the dots, like, wait a second, this guy, every candidate he supported has won every election or have won all their elections, and they're also supporting his shit. What's going on here? And it seems like some crazy, nefarious, horrible thing. And it's like, well, is it? Is it? Not really, right? People are putting the, there's a crafty, clever saying for this, for switching the causality around. It's not putting the cart before the horse. There's a clever way of saying this, or there's a shorter way of saying this. But like, people are flipping the causality here, and they're assuming that something super malicious is happening when probably not. But maybe there is with AIPAC. I haven't looked into how they choose which candidates to back. One thing that a lot of young people are still having trouble getting over, though, is that Israel is really, 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 really popular with old people in the United States. That's still true. Where was it? Wasn't there a Trump clip yesterday saying something like, if you support Hamas, you should get kicked out of the United States. We should ban you from the country. Does anybody have this Twitter clip? Oh, it's this one. I might be exaggerating.
President, we will deport the foreign jihad sympathizers, and we will deport them very quickly, and Hamas supporters will be gone. If you hate America, if you want to eliminate Israel, then we don't want you in our country. We really don't want you in our country. I will ban refugee settlements from terror-infested areas like the Gaza Strip, and we will arrest the pro-Hamas thugs who vandalize federal property and make really life very, very difficult in this country for a lot of people. I'm president.
And like, you could look at it as some weird nefarious thing, but the reality is just old people just like Israel. They just do in the United States. Israel's a really cool story for anybody that's over the age of 40 or 50. Anybody that's followed it that's older is like, oh yeah, hell yeah, democracy in the Middle East, hell yeah, those are our Jews, hell yeah. No, you're wrong, Destiny. You want to fund both the winner and loser, so you win no matter what, like 90% of companies do. I seriously doubt 90% of companies support both sides of every election. But okay. Do you think younger people don't support Israel as much? Is it literally just internet memes? I don't think young people support Israel as much, and I don't think they should. And I understand why they don't. You have to remember, if you're an older person, okay, like, what was Israel? Israel was, first of all, you had the Holocaust. Then you had a bunch of Jews escape to the Middle East, where all the surrounding people are evil and hate them, okay? Because we're not the biggest fans of brown people or Arabs, okay? And then Israel wins these massive, like, huge, like, underdog wars, and then they emerge as this, like, pretty thriving democracy in a area of the world that has no other democracies when we're fighting the Cold War and we love democracy, right? That was the whole point of the Cold War, was spreading democracy in the world. So it makes sense why if you're a Cold War American, you fucking love Israel, right? But if you're a younger American, if you're under the age of 30, well, what is Israel to you? Okay, well, Israel is a country that has bullied Palestinians for 2 decades. They have a massive military. Hamas has never had any chance in hell of doing anything. And then there's just like people that are being fucked in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and they're hungry and they don't have anything and they're fucked. Right? That's all Israel is to you. So it makes sense why, if you're a younger person, why you wouldn't like Israel. Because what the fuck? Like, you don't care as much about like the concept of democracy and all that. It's not like in the forefront of your mind like it was for Americans and the entire world in the Cold War, where it was democracy versus communism, right? Now you live in a world and there are different governments and who knows and who cares and whatever the fuck. Yeah, Israel doesn't represent anything cool or interesting or whatever. It's just a country, and your perception is just that they bully poor Palestinian people all day. Like, that's it. That's partly Israel's fault, or majority Israel's fault. You can't live off your old stories forever, especially when the people that remember them start to die off. You thinking Trump was based about this, you're exactly the person you described as only caring about free speech when it's your side. What? Did you watch this clip and think that I support deporting people who support jihad or Hamas? What do you mean only supported? It definitely supports it and then pushes back against the substance homie. Wait, I don't know what that means. Or I don't know what that was in reference to. Trump saying Israel is too small?
Israel is a tiny little spot compared to...
Do you hear it?
Israel.
It's going to be 60 hertz. Ready? Yep. Because there are power cords crossed with speaker cords. Why does nobody care about this? Why does nobody care? Why does nobody give a fuck about this? Who's getting paid to do audio at these events?
Israel is a tiny little spot compared to these giant land masses. It's really a tiny spot. I actually said, is there any way of getting more? It's so tiny. Israel.
Do you think there should be a Ukraine version of APAC? I mean, now there seems like there should have been. Yeah. Do you think the Cold War mentality is going to come back due to the new Cold War between the West and Russia, China, Iran, etc.? I'm not sure. I don't know if... Here's something I'm just not sure about. Mainly, also because I haven't done a deep reading of the history yet in that time period. I don't know if the Cold War can happen without having nuclear warfare first. Like, I don't know how much of the Cold War and multipolarity was driven by watching the nuclear weapons being dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and then knowing that two superpowers were beginning to build up those arsenals afterwards. Like, if the nuclear bombings never happened, I don't know if people care as much about the multipolarity thing, but maybe they still do, because Russia was a very strong state, the Soviet Union was a very strong state to emerge from the Cold War, and the United States was a very strong country to emerge from not the Cold War, from World War II. Maybe, maybe not. So I don't know if like a new Cold War can happen without like an actual big kinetic fight happening first, some big bombing activity. Otherwise, it's just all internet memes and bots and shit like that. So, yeah. Who knows? I still hear it. Are you trolling? Please answer. No, now my AC turned on and it's the same frequency. What do you think of Israel before you did your research? I don't know. I didn't think much at all about it. It seemed kind of cringe, like they bullied Palestinians all day for no reason. I think that was kind of my opinion, right? If anything, I think I probably felt a lot more sympathy for the Palestinians and almost none for the Israelis. Yeah, I think there's like an old video with me arguing with Lauren Southern, where I'm like, do you think Palestinians that are getting bombed in hospitals give a fuck about whatever? Do you think it's interesting that as populism is more and more popular, you see more people being sympathetic to Russia? Do you think all the populist rhetoric would lead people to be more nationalistic and thus have more negative feelings towards Russia, our greatest adversary? The issue is that people just take for granted all the things that are provided by that we provide in the West. They just take it for granted, and then they see Russia and they feel sympathy for a variety of reasons. They feel they think they're cool for a variety of reasons. Like, they feel sympathy because they see Russia getting bullied by the rest of the world, but then they're like, but they're still like proud and white and Christian and they hate gays, and like, damn, that is kind of cool. But it's like, no, they're not very cool. Not really. What's your opinion on Egypt's relations with the U.S. and Israel? I don't know. I think Egypt, is always just kind of chilling. I feel like without doing any in-depth research, the vibe I get from Egypt is they just kind of want to like do their shit and they don't really give a fuck much anymore. I think the U.S. still pays the money every year, right? Ever since the treaty with Israel. And then, yeah, I think Egypt just kind of wants to do its thing. That's what I feel like. But maybe there's some huge event going on that I haven't seen or whatever. Yeah. Assuming Trump loses in November, how do you see us getting out of this disinformation, alternative facts, reality we now live in, or do you think we're fucked? It's hard. I mean, I think everybody has to do their part to be like as fact-based as possible. But I also think a big part of it is you have to start holding other people accountable for not being factual. This is why it sucks because one thing that's very hard to balance for me is I feel like sometimes I have very contradictory personality traits, but then like outcomes. So for instance, I think personally, this is one of the things I talked to Dr. K about. I do have a pretty hard time making other people uncomfortable. I think I just have a personality trait that if people are around me, I generally want them to feel pretty comfortable. And in debates, I have a really hard time sometimes like really leaning into somebody's discomfort when I know that they're defeated on a point. This is why you see Pisco spamming in chat so fucking annoyingly a lot. He's like, make them answer it, right? Because Pisco knows that I'm probably letting a person squirm out of a point where I should say like, hold on. And if you've watched some of my recent debates, I've started to say this more recently where I'm like, hold on, wait, before we move on, you were wrong about this, right? Can you admit that you were completely fucking incorrect about this, that you totally were incorrect, you were completely wrong about this? It even happened a little bit yesterday with the in that debate with all the Nazis, where I was like, hold on, wait, before we move on, you admit that like this story that you said, this didn't happen, right? This guy, there was no extradition request. This crime never happened. He was never, you admit that, right? But you notice that when I start poking at people, they don't actually ever admit to anything. They don't ever admit that they're wrong. And then even with Connor, I was kind of doing it. I was like, hold on, like he did lie about this, right? Or stop answering things that I'm saying with sure or okay. I need to hear a yes, like 100% yes, that you hear what I'm saying and you agree with what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, 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 yeah, I think that more people need to start doing that, that you have to like, listen, I need you to admit that you were wrong. You were completely wrong on this. The Suleiman dude seemed to be on a scheme to get on your good side. Well, so I have to be careful about this so I don't keep doing the same thing to myself. I give a lot of attention to a lot of these Twitter spaces because every time I do these Twitter spaces, oh fuck, like I had 2 more like Twitter employees like message me for shit that I didn't respond to. I just remember this. Every time I do these spaces, they bring a large crowd, but I think that 2 or 3 times ago when I did a space, there was a Mario guy and he kept muting me. And I think for 2 of these, I just ended up leaving. And after I leave a space like that, they start spamming me with like, hey, wait, come back. Like, I'll give you a host. Like, I'm so sorry, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, bro, I don't, fuck this. This is retarded. So I think now probably when I'm in a space, people are a little bit more reluctant to just like spam the mute on me because they know that if they do that, I'll just fucking leave and they'll lose all their viewership on it. So, yeah. That being said, this is not an overall good valuation of character or anything. The Suleiman guy yesterday did seem to be pretty fair when he felt like there were points that I was making that weren't directly addressing counter arguments. He would say, I don't think this is a response to that. And then when the other guys did, he was saying that. So we'll say that. You hosted any space yourself? Yeah, I've done 2. I think all my new computer parts will be here in 2 or 3 days. It's really hard working on this computer. For some reason, I have a lot of, it just gets really laggy. But I think it's like a Chrome thing because I have too many Chrome windows open. So hopefully once my new shit gets here, I'm ballin'. How much memory did you get? Wasn't it like 64 gigabytes, I think? Hey Destiny, how are you able to explain concepts and convey what you were thinking so well? Is this a skill that you pick up naturally growing up, or did you have to hone it deliberately? I want to get better, and I don't know if I need to read more books, or when am I just stuck being a retard sad? I think that part of it is doing it a lot. Like I can practice a lot more than the average person because I'm streaming. It's part of my job. But a second thing is, and I stress this over and over again, okay, I will continue to say this all the time, that like when I do, and you can kind of see with the J6 stuff or any of the Israel stuff, like if I were to do a video on something, like if I were to do a 30-minute video on something, it would be something I'm prepared to talk about for 10 hours, okay? It wouldn't be like I did a 30-minute video and here's everything I know. When you know more peripheral facts or tangential stuff to the thing that you're talking about, I think it makes it easier to explain it because you have a better understanding of it too, right? This is why when I'm reading stuff and I don't understand a term, I click through and I read the next thing and 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 the next thing, right? Just like, so I have like some understanding of at least a little bit of what I'm talking about. Just be willing to read a lot. There's not like a shortcut on it. You just be willing to like read a lot of stuff because then your mind remembers stuff more and then you start to like yesterday, the email I got on like quantum field theory and quantum dynamics. I don't remember. If I had to guess, I probably remembered 30% of that email, maybe. But if I read anything about that in the future, you better believe that there's going to be stuff where it's like, oh, I remember this, or like, oh shit, okay. Classical, the standard model is not just quantum mechanics. That's not true. It's like quantum field theory, which incorporates other stuff, or it incorporates, there are things that incorporate like special relativity, but not general relativity because that has like there are little things that I'll remember. But then if I read something in the future, like more and more of it will come back. I'm like, oh, okay, I remember this from that and that and that and that and that. But you have to just be willing to read. There's like no shortcut for that, I don't think. And then if you understand something really well, usually you can explain it really well, I think. Hopefully, maybe. Okay. Wow, hello. Do you have an opinion on the Connor Kamala stuff? Him not wanting to vote for her? I didn't even listen to that conversation. I don't know, man. But it's also difficult to, like I already alienate so many people sometimes because I'm so aggressive. So like if I have a conversation with Connor and I like lean into him super hard, it's like, Jesus. I also can't do it with, as much as I love Pisco and everything, I can't do it with Pisco here too because the conversation becomes way, way, way too aggressive. And I'm like, the other person is going to be filled with hatred if we're both going in on him, yeah. Hello, hello. Okay. Somebody typed a message in YouTube chat, and I think you sent me a Twitter DM as well. Hi, Destiny. I was watching your recent Last Night on Destiny video, and I have a question. When you said that Jordan Peterson's definition of what a woman your definition of what is woman was correct because you need to experience something. To understand its definition, I think that if multiple people have vastly different experiences from one to another, and there wasn't an undisputed definition of that concept, then we would run into the same problem. For example, if you have a Muslim country where no one has seen a woman without a hijab, and then those Muslim women came to America and saw women without hijabs, they would think they're not women. I don't know if worded correctly. Okay, I understand what you're saying. You're hinting at a concept, I think that Wittgenstein calls a private language. The idea that you create a language and only you know the definitions of all the words is pointless. That's not like a real thing. A private language is not real. That is true. You have to have agreed upon definitions for words. That's the whole point of human language and communication, is to be able to meaningfully communicate, meaning you're uttering something and it has meaning, like the other person understands what you're saying to other people, of course. You have to have shared languages.
May I just say something real quick?
Speak away, good friend.
How you been, first off?
Good.
Do people actually believe that, like, in these Muslim countries, there's not a single woman without a hijab?
Firstly, your mic is quiet, motherfucker. Secondly, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Oh, good job.
I would know. Like,
No, I mean, who knows what other people think? I'm not sure.
I mean, this guy said they would never like have seen what a woman is, or like.
Well, he was just using it as like an example. If you had a country where everybody was wearing hijab and nobody had seen somebody, they might define things differently or whatever. I don't know if he actually believes that. I think it was just an example for that, but.
Fair enough. I'm just because I've heard that so many times from people in the West that like all these women are always covered in the Middle East, and I've yet to see maybe Afghanistan is like the only country.
Maybe, yeah, probably depends, yeah.
Yeah, right
Afghanistan
now.
might be full on burqa, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it's not. I don't even think it's the burqa. I think it's like what a certain group of women in Algeria wear, where even the eyes are covered.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So yeah, it's to that extreme, and I also think there's like pretty much stealing daughters as soon as they turn 13 right now. As soon as they hit puberty, they steal like the daughters to marry them off, which is insane.
Oh, yeah. Just as a real quick thing to confirm, women don't wear hijab until they become like they have to hit some teenager part, right?
Well, first off,
Or
they're discouraged from wearing a hijab until they hit puberty, obviously.
okay.
And then they're discouraged from wearing a hijab until like they're like finished like at least school. If they are really adamant about wearing it, at least in my community, then their parents usually give in and let them wear it. But usually in a country that's not fully Muslim, it's a big commitment to take because you are targeted. Like as like you are symbolizing Islam while you're wearing a hijab. So they usually try to not let these women get targeted until like they're later, able to defend themselves or like older.
Interesting. Okay. Some people are disagreeing in chat. I can't tell. I don't think I saw kids. I don't think I've ever seen a little girl wearing a hijab ever. But maybe in some countries they do, but I don't think. But everybody like insisted in that one. There was a chat I was in with all the racist white nationalist British people, and then I think Lauren was implying it. And other people, not implying. I think everybody was saying that like girls like basically as soon as this like baby pops out of the womb, they're like fucking gluing a hijab to her fucking head. But I feel like I don't remember seeing them wear it until they're like teenager-ish. But maybe in some countries they do, or maybe it's different in different places. I'm not sure because enough people in chat are saying no that. It's either they've all heard this or maybe they do see really young girls wearing hijab. I don't know.
Usually there is going to be also like, you know how it's if one side is saying this and one side is saying this, it's usually going to be in between.
Sure.
There's most likely going to be families that force their daughters at an early age to wear the hijab, and there's going to probably be parents who aren't forcing their daughters to wear the hijab and they don't wear the hijab, and then some that don't force their daughters do not want to wear hijab, but they want to wear hijab.
Okay, big question.
What's up?
If a devout Muslim woman shaves her head, does she still have to wear hijab?
Huh. I'm gonna have to ask a sheikh. I've never heard of a woman shaving her head.
Find one with cancer whose hair has fallen out and see if she's still supposed to. I'm curious.
I don't think so. But think about it. A hijab would probably help her not stand out.
True. Okay.
I know. Anyway, also, you keep saying that we don't have the sound in Arabic. We do. Stop saying that. It's wrong.
Well, why do you guys say?
Because it's a completely different letter. Like when we say Mahmoud, it's a different letter, but that doesn't exist in Hebrew. That's why in Jewish Israelis would say Mahmoud, because that letter doesn't exist.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, Jewish people. Yeah, they'll say like Hamas or whatever. But I thought when I asked your dad, like, how would he say like so for like Menachem Begin, like I thought he didn't have like that Jewish ch thing or whatever.
You have to keep in mind that my dad also speaks Hebrew fluently and speaks how Jewish people speak Hebrew. So, for example, I'm gonna use an easier word instead of Menachem Begin, because I say Menachem Begin, but because here in Hebrew there's chet and then there's het and then there's chaf.
Okay,
there's
I don't know the
different
difference.
letters.
Yeah, okay, fuck all that shit.
Yeah, but I'm gonna explain anyway, so you don't forget.
Or I mean, fuck all that shit. I can't tell the difference between any of what you just said, but go for it.
Well, one sounds like this, and the other one sounds like that. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So a lot of people, for example, the word I'm gonna use to like show the example for you is called slicha. Slicha is how Israelis say, which means sorry. No, the correct way of pronouncing it with the right letter is het.
Okay.
So you're supposed to say sliha, but the Ashkenazi accent doesn't have the het. They say chet instead. So they say slicha, and it's pretty abnormal for someone to pronounce the het the way it's supposed to be, which is I think only Yemenite Jews do it.
Okay.
While everyone else says slicha with the pronunciation. It's not how the actual letter is. The actual letter is het, and that's how the original pronunciation was. But because the Ashkenazim were the majority when Israel was founded, a lot of the Mizrahi pronunciation started going towards the Ashkenazi pronunciation. They started to want to belong to the Jewish people at that time, which the majority was Ashkenazi. So
Okay.
that accent started disappearing out.
Gotcha. Wait, do Jewish people then just not have like the throat H sound or whatever?
They used to, and Yemenite Jews still do. Like Yemenite Jews still say het for the majority of them, but the majority of Jewish people just say het instead of het.
Okay, so then why do? Okay, so here's a question. So, okay, wait, you don't speak Hebrew, do you, or do you?
I speak enough to order McDonald's.
Okay, why is it that so for Hamas, okay, Hamas is clearly it's just an H. Why do Jewish people say Hamas? Why do they say that? The Hamas.
Because in Arabic it's Hamas, so they don't. It's not with an H in Arabic. It's with a in Arabic. So it is the letter that they usually substitute for a sound. But if you're talking in English, neither of those letters exist. So they say etch instead of either of those letters because they don't exist in those letters.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for our monthly Arab Hebrew language update. Okay, anti-aliased.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. What's up?
Good. Is my mic okay this time?
It's a little loud.
Okay, let me... All right, how's that? Any better?
Go down a little bit more.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, that's good. Wherever you're at right now. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
what's up?
Okay. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about Trump v. United States.
Indeed.
And your opinion concerning that case.
Go for it. Do you want to
Okay.
give as much background as you're comfortable first for chat?
Yeah, I don't know as it really matters. I'm a nobody. I'm retired. Did get my doctorate in law, but since I'm retired, I don't do anything with it.
Okay. Wait, were you
yeah.
a working lawyer at one point, or?
No, I started a company while I was in law school, so I kept going to get my doctorate, and then I didn't bother because I had other stuff to do.
Okay.
In the state I was in, they required 3 months of internship under another lawyer, and I couldn't just take off running my business for 3 months to play.
Gotcha. Also,
so
wait,
I
hold
didn't
on.
ever bother.
Are you Canadian?
No, but close. I was before I moved to Ecuador, I lived in Vermont, which is right below Canada.
Okay, because I detect a slight trader accent, but okay, just checking. Okay.
Well, no, I definitely was. Hey, I'm from the land of Bernie Sanders originally, so definitely not.
Sounds
well,
like a traitor
might be
to me.
a traitor.
Yeah. Okay, all right, go hit me up. So you think that
Okay.
you can give a good faith, a stronger version of, or you actually even agree with the ruling in Trump v. United States?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
I'll put my strongest position is that I cannot think of a better holding that the court could have made.
Okay.
So, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a little preface sort of thing.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, and I don't know how much you know, the U.S. common law came from England with the colonists in the 16th century. And that's what we basically imported whole cloth.
Yeah.
That is the common law. It's what came from England. And what it was just what rulings were common amongst jurists at the time. So they weren't precedential in the sense of we think of it where it's binding, but it was just like good practice among lawyers.
Okay.
This was then usually placed into treatises compiled by commentators. The most famous is Blackstone in the U.S. because his commentary was published in, I think, the late 1760s, which was right before we stopped having anything to do with England. So when we brought over the common law, we used Blackstone, that you'll find him cited ubiquitously. Anyway, so that's important to know because a lot of Supreme Court stuff has to do with that.
Yeah, if you read a lot of Supreme Court stuff where that, like, I'm pretty sure this happened, I think, at the Dobbs opinion. You said you've read all of these, so I mean, hopefully I don't miss anything. But I've seen references a lot to, like, well, what did they think? What was the common law at the time? Or though, if they have to go back, like, really historically, they'll dive into that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially for things like this, where this is an issue in Trump v. U.S. of first impression. No court in the world, well, not in the world, because they may have had presidents other places. But as far as England and the U.S., which is all that matters for the U.S. legal system, no court has ever considered the immunity, the criminal immunity of a president or a not sitting president.
Sure.
They've opined on the criminal immunity of a sitting president, but that's dicta. Wasn't actually the holding in any of those cases.
Okay.
Okay. I won't defend Robert's writing. I don't think he's the brightest guy on the court already. Fair warning. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So what I want to state first, or I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Can a court, any court, do anything but speak? Like as far as powers.
As far as powers, I don't believe so, no. I think all the court can do is just basically, this is our opinion on something. And then the only people, well, it depends on what you mean by do anything. Like, technically, the legislature can't do anything either. The only people that can do anything really are the executive bodies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
which is going to go to my first point.
Okay.
There is a reason that the U.S. Supreme Court needs to be seen as fair and impartial. It can't do its job if they don't have the trust of the people, Congress, and the president.
Okay. Were you the one that I've got like 3 different or 4 different? It's 1 lawyer, 2 law people, and then I think people that email me stuff. Were you the one who emailed me about like how the Supreme Court has to so carefully protect its own legitimacy because it's not a huge legislative body elected by the people and it doesn't have anything to protect itself? Or is that somebody different? Okay, it might have been somebody different. But okay,
it was a month ago,
sure.
and
okay, yeah, that's
when
fine.
I was emailing you, so
okay, yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, but somebody has emailed me and talked about this. That the Supreme Court has to be very careful in protecting its own legitimacy because it has nothing to ensure itself, and it can be attacked from both branches with impunity, basically. Yeah.
Yes, and lately it's been attacked a lot more by the public, which is part of my disagreement with you. Is even if you disagree and think that the court is biased, I would argue that you shouldn't say so, and I'll give my reasoning why.
Okay.
It may be a fable that the court is always an impartial arbiter of justice, but it's a fable that's got to be believed for the whole system to work.
Yeah.
The United States, like every functioning society, is built on myths: liberty, justice, equality, truth, democracy, integrity, service, honor. People require that narrative in order to function within society. And you can see, for those who don't believe in those things, or at least act like they don't believe in it, the social contract, that don't believe in representative democracy, the courts, the police, Congress, the executive, almost definitionally, they're working against the functioning of society, or of U.S. society.
Wait, can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by that?
Well, because if you are challenging the legitimacy of courts, of police, of Congress, of the executive branch, those are the things that make society in the United States work. Otherwise, I don't know what you would even call something that didn't have functional courts, police.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
You have to have these things for a government, for a society to function.
Okay.
So That would be my argument. And let me be clear, it isn't motivated reasoning. Philosophically, I'm an anarchist. I think all of those concepts of liberty, justice, rights, that's all bullshit. But I also don't like the idea of society breaking down. So I think I'm going to argue for it, even though I think you should pretend like you believe in it anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Do you disagree with any of that severely or strongly?
We're speaking very abstractly, so I will
Yes,
cautiously agree.
obviously.
But I mean,
Okay.
I think I do, right? Like if I go to buy something from you, we both need to believe that my dollar can be an exchange of currency, and that we have to believe that the U.S. government will accept it if I need to pay taxes. And theoretically, it's not like the sun is going to come up tomorrow, like that we know with the same assuredness that everybody will have the same idea. So there's a collective mythos or a collective fiction that we all have to buy into, that we're all created equal, the government's going to protect us, these ideas of liberty and freedom of speech, and the fact that a court says something and we all just kind of agree to it, like, yeah, it has to be, but definitionally so, right? Almost like a... Yeah, I won't get too abstract, but yeah, sure. Yeah, we have to believe in these things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad
Yeah.
I was able to get that across.
Yeah. The slave has to believe he's a slave to some extent. Otherwise, like, the slaves would just very easily rise up
breaks
until
down,
yeah,
yes.
they would
It has to.
yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Okay. So next, I'm hoping you can accept or acknowledge that a court can make a bad decision using a good law or rule.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
So, like, let's say, for instance, there was, very easily, let's say that the court, there was something before the court, and somebody discovered that, well, actually, there was a loophole, or, in the hidden away in the Ninth Amendment, it actually does say, Congress shall make no law abridging the right of a citizen to, enrich uranium for a nuclear weapon. And the Supreme Court got this, and it's like, okay, well, fuck, like, technically this is what it says, but it's like, holy shit, like, to actually rule favorably on this, it would destroy the country. So theoretically, there might be a good decision that comes from breaking a rule, or there might be a bad decision that comes from following a rule. Like, theoretically, if that's what you mean,
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Not exactly, but it's close.